The reason that we are holding the walk is to celebrate it, but also to kind of highlight the fact that it's under threat. It's under attack from several different angles, mostly to do with the proposed development that the council want to build a housing estate just as we turn the corner up into Iffley Village. I thought we were all going to get arrested under the new criminal justice. And so we're going to walk past that site. It's a site that you may all know about. It's called the Horse Fields. The council have just put in their planning application for development of that site. It's a site that we don't think, and I think most people with any sense don't think should ever have been allocated for development in the first place. It's the last undeveloped fields in Iffley. It's what makes Iffley feel like a village. It's essential to the quietness of this route and the rurality of this route and what makes this route special. But it isn't the only reason the route's under attack. We will go past another area where they're looking to take down a large number of trees for a cycle path, entrance onto a cycle path, which could just as easily go a few metres further along and use an existing entrance. And there is even thoughts about Oriel Field, which you all probably know. Some of you may walk your dogs there, the large open expanse on the right. Even that, there is talk about that being proposed for development, although that may not be something that the council supports, but certainly Oriel College may be promoting that for development in the very near future. But that's a battle for the future. The current focus and the reason we wanted to draw everybody's attention to it today and to celebrate the walk is the Horsefields development. So we're going to walk along that route that you probably all know very well up into Iffley Village, and there we'll go to the village hall where there'll be mulled wine and mince pies. If anybody wants to ask myself or any of the other people involved in the campaign any questions along the way, please do. Questions about the development, questions about what you can do to help, when should you object and what perhaps you might want to think about saying, all of those things. Just one of the reasons I wore a hat today is so that I can be picked out quite easily in the crowd. If anybody wants to speak to me, please do, but there are others here who will be just as proficient at giving you good answers. Rachel here is one of them. Rachel's been an absolute stalwart of the campaign. Discovered the white badger Luna along with Evelyn, who's coming around here. So I'm Dominic Woodfield. Yeah. So I'm a professional ecologist. I'm one of the people helping to produce an evidence base in opposition to the council's evidence base that why the site should be developed. So I've done some work in documenting what's there on a wildlife basis, but the credit for finding the badger set and the white badger that lives there is these two. Hugh Warwick, very famous national hedgehog expert. Yeah, very interesting. Has anybody got any questions before we head off, or should we just get walking? Another threat, another thing that denudes the quality of this route and the enjoyment of it, is the potential loss of a huge number of trees here. Well, I say a huge number, probably around about 20 of these trees. Now, the council don't like that figure, but actually when you read their plans, that's actually what we're talking about. We're talking about 20 of these going to allow a cycle path, which is going to come down the side of this playing field here, to open out onto here. Now, no one's got a problem with improving cycling infrastructure. Everybody recognises that there is a problem with these playing fields with people short-circuiting across them and creating a kind of a trough on the desire line with their bikes and what have you, which damages the football fields and the playing surface. I play football, I appreciate why that's a concern. But the obvious thing to do is obviously to take the cycle path up to the existing entrance. They're not proposing to close that entrance off. So one of the flaws in the plan is that anyone on foot or anyone with a dog or anyone who doesn't mind off-roading on their bike will just carry on using the existing desire line. The other problem is you'll create a new desire line from here over to the Arnold Road entrance. So you'll create a crisscross of another kind of vector of damage onto the playing fields. And you're losing 20 odd trees, well-loved trees, really nice part of the route. For what? When you can just go a little bit further along and just come out of the existing entrance. So the council have submitted the application for this. This is Oxford Direct Services have submitted an application for this. The planning officer at the council, when they had what's called a pre-application discussion with them, said, why do you want to come through here? Why don't you just go up through there? And they've just flatly ignored it and have decided that they want to take these trees out. Now, it just seems to be completely illogical and is going to damage the route. This band of trees, obviously, it's part of the floodplain. It's a well-known landscape feature in the locality. If you're looking from the river, it screens the development over there in the summer. If you're looking out the back of the houses on Arnold Road, you've got this nice visual feature. So it's another one of this kind of, I think the concern for everybody who enjoys this route is really going to be, this whole area is going to be suburbanized. You're going to have this kind of area, this big bell mouth here, which is going to have curbs and all sorts going on. And the other thing that people have mentioned, which is a concern, is that it creates a kind of a hazard, because people come bombing down here on their bikes, exiting onto here, potentially going to clash with pedestrians, with dog walkers, with anyone else, any cyclists coming the other way. So unless they're going to put some kind of control in here, which kind of defeats the object, then it just doesn't seem to make any kind of logical sense at all. So that's one of the threats to the route at the moment. There's all sorts of what I would suggest are probably better solutions than the one that they're proposing. Can everybody hear? Okay, so we'll say a little bit. So the other major threat to the route and to the village is the development that's now proposed for these group of fields here behind this hedge and heading all the way up to Church Way. So those of you who are used to that walk along Church Way, the walk where you can see the meadows down to the river. There are 3 fields here essentially, 2 on this side and then another which is the one you can see most prominently from Church Way. The council say they're not developing the one that you can see best from Church Way. Remains to be seen, but when they say not develop, it doesn't mean leave alone. And obviously one of the major factors for anyone who does this walk is that the traffic entrance will be just up here. So while it's being built, this will be construction traffic coming in and coming up and down here. And then when it is built, you're going to have the residents of the houses, 32 odd houses, driving in and out. And that's just going to urbanise this stretch of road. And obviously they'll potentially need to widen it. They'll need to create new sight lines for safety. The junction up at the top, they may need to make some changes up there. So the sum total effect is you effectively have what is currently a very rural route will become urbanised. It will feel much more like everywhere else in the city. And one of the key things that makes this walk so special, and one of the things that makes Iffley feel like a village within a city still, one of those key elements will be taken away. So that is one of the major reasons why people are opposed to the development here. There are other reasons. This will exacerbate runoff into the floodplain. There's a ditch just here, and you can see this wet area here. This is the beginnings of a ditch that heads off into the Thames. Found evidence of otter on this ditch in the past, so it's quite a good wildlife habitat as well as everything else. But obviously, if you create loads of hard surfaces on these slopes up here, then that's going to create more water down into the ditch and into the Thames. But fundamentally, what happened here was wrong, because the council is supposed to notify everybody, give everybody a clear opportunity to say whether they agree or disagree with the zonation of a development site. And my understanding is that they leafleted the wrong ward. So people were notified about this development, but not any of the local people. Iffley's now got 2 major developments at either end. This is the smallest of the 3, but this is the most contentious for very, very good reasons.
So we know that we've got white badgers throughout East Oxford. They're unusual in the fact that they're leucistic, so they've got dark noses, they've got dark eyes. We know that they're all the way out to the ring road up at Rivermead, but we also have records of them all the way along the river on this side, going back towards town. So we know that there's the gene is going all the way along Oxford in that sense. So we've done quite a lot of research in sort of finding out where these more unusual coloured badgers are. And in terms of leucistic badgers, they really only seem to be in East Oxford. There's a couple of evidence of individuals elsewhere. We have a few erythristic badgers, which are the sort of reddish brown and white. But to get these pure white sort of mini polar bear image of badgers is really unusual and seems to be predominantly happening in East Oxford only.
Some people have asked some questions about the Meadow School proposal. And I thought I'd just say a few words. Yes. So within a 15-minute walking distance, we have 5 schools. 2 primary, a special needs school and a secondary school. and I've been in touch with all of them, and there's a great deal of need amongst the children. 1,700 children go to those schools. About 35% of them are designated as deprived, and outdoor education is hugely beneficial, not only for all children, but particularly for them. And they were really supportive of this idea. They have no funds to put their children on a coach and take them up to other centres where they might do outdoor education. And the fact that they might, through the years, through seasons, through the years, get to nurture and regenerate a local meadow would be something amazing for their, not only for their sense of well-being, but for their sense of belonging and for their sense of community. So that's why we put forward the Meadow School idea, and to learn about this habitat, which is Oxfordshire's habitat par excellence.